Hello, this is Ashee from Crafting with Ashee and welcome to this card making tutorial. This is the lovely card we're making today. This is Lost Lagoon is the card base here, and then the paper is the Brushed with Beauty, and you can see it has a fold back little pocket here, and then you have a pocket here where you can put a secret message, or I would think it'd be lovely if you were giving this to a friend. You could put a picture of the two of you together on the back there, and then you could have that here hidden in the little pocket, and then it says a little something for you, and then you can put your message there. So I thought that's a lovely little card. I really like the way it turned out. So let me show you how to make it. Last time we did Lost Lagoon, this time we're going to do Calypso Coral. So our card base is obviously Calypso Coral. So standard A6 card base, that's an A4 sheet cut in half and then folded in half. And now we need to cut an insert for this because I don't have one. So we're going to use Very Vanilla because that's the colour of the white in the collection. So this is how I keep all my scraps, just in these Ziploc pockets. I'm going to see if that piece works. And I have one of those Ziploc pockets for every colour. This is going to be slightly too small, so we will need a new sheet, which is not a problem. I did bring up the sheet with me, I think. Yes, here we go. There's a brand new sheet of Very Vanilla. And we're going to cut this down to what I call my standard matte size. So that's 14.35 centimetres by 10. So 14.35 by 10. So that's a quarter of an A4 sheet, basically, just under a quarter of an A4 sheet. Right, so that'll go with the scrap pile. And this I'll put on the inside of our card. Now let me know, I always make A6 cards, or tend to make most of the time, and I have what I call standard mats that go down in about 0.5 centimetre sizes that I use various ones. Now if you would like, if it will be helpful to you, would you like me to do a PDF showing you how I cut my card bases and how I work out my mats and layers? Then I can do that. Well, let me know if that's something that would interest you. So we're going to stick that insert on the inside for now, and we're going to work on our outside pieces. So this piece is Calypso Coral, it's quarter of an A4 sheet, and now we want to cut that piece here. That's going to be our cutaway. So I'm going to bring in our trimmer again, and we want to measure on the right hand side 6 centimetres down. So what I'm going to do is measure 6 centimetres and just use my scoring tool to make a little mark here, but one that I can see. And I'm going to measure from that mark to the point on the other side and cut. Okay, so we have a piece that looks like that now. I'm going to keep this actually for now. Whoopsie daisy. So this is going to be, I'll show you, this is going to be our piece just here. So now the next thing we need to do is work out our mats. So I have two pieces here of the Designer Series paper, and they both measure 14.35 centimetres by 10. One is going to go on the front of our card, and then one is going to get hidden by the mat. So the way I do this is I don't measure because I struggle to measure things accurately at times. So I'm going to just put that roughly where I'd want it, and then I'm going to just make some pencil marks so I know where I want to cut. Like that. And then I'm going to cut between my pencil marks if I can see them. Like that. And then that should give me my piece here for my front. That'll do me. And then this piece here will fit. I will cut this down in a second to fit on the back here. So let me show you how this is going to work, because it sounds more complicated than it is. Let's do our first pieces. So let's do the bit we know we're going to do. We've got that cut, we've got our designer series paper here cut. So before we get confused, let's stick one to the other. I'm just centering it as best as I can. Just like that. Now, you're going to find here that we want to do this next piece, this fold over flat piece. Now I haven't folded it over, I've just cut it again, and this is actually just this piece that I've folded down, but I've cut rather than actually folded, and it just makes a much easier line doing it like this. And then you're going to see we're going to do the inside piece now as well. Okay, so this was the piece that fitted there, so we're going to fold it flat down, and we want to use the reverse side, so we're going to do the same thing with the designer series paper. We're going to fold it down. Okay, so I remembered I can't fold down the designer series paper so well because it comes at a funny angle because of the way the point is, and I don't want the point to be at a funny angle. I wanted it to, you can have it at that funny angle if you want, which is fine, but I didn't want it like that. I wanted it more at this angle here, to follow that line across. But you can do whichever you want. If you wanted to fold down, let's have a look and see. We can have it like this. Shall we have it like this time? Yeah, let's be different and have it like this. Why not? So, we're going to mat these two together, and we just need to cut a little bit off again as before to make the mat work. So you can see here, we're just going to need to cut a little bit off. And I'm sure if you do some other fancy measurements before, you wouldn't have to do this extra cutting, but I try that and it just doesn't work for me for some reason. I don't know why. What works for me is to, because you know, quite often our cutting and scoring is not totally accurate every time. I find it's much easier at times just to measure as you go along and see how much you need to trim one way or the other. So that's what's going to come down here. Yeah, so let's glue this in place. If my glue wants to work, that is. And then go set this on our piece of Calypso Coral cardstock, and then we're gonna make sure we line this up so it's nice and straight, just like that. Then we've got a piece here. Now you won't need all of this. You can decide which pattern you want to stick out the top, but I think I want this pattern, so you're not going to need everything. So I'm going to measure down as before, about, we had 6 centimeters, so if I measure about 7.5, should give us, and that we can use for scrap later, that should give us enough space. Right, so let's center this to the top like this. We're nearly done. Right. Set that to the top. I want the flowers pointing the right way. That's always a good thing. Right. Now we want to put glue on here, a bead of glue, along this side, that side, and that side, not the diagonal side. So I'm going to try and use my fine tip glue that I have here. See if it's going to work. It was playing up the other day. It's happy this time. Right, just that fine tip, and that will give us our pocket. Now you're going to line this up, and this should be flush with the bottom on the sides. So it should look like that. Isn't that pretty? Oh, I like that. Give it a good press down. I'm going to leave that aside to dry. And let's do a little bit of stamping. So I'm going to bring in my piece of Very Vanilla here, scrap piece. And I think, let's see, what should we stamp in? Let's stamp again in Lost Lagoon. Bring in some more of that Lost Lagoon in. And the stamps that I'm going to use is this one, Encircled with Love. I'm going to do a little something again. And we need a block. Tap, 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 tap. Down, hold. Lovely. Close that up. Eek. Move that one up the side. I'm going to bring in some punches. I've got the 1 7/8 and the 2-inch punch here. I'm going to do the 1 7/8 for my little something. And then I was going to do Calypso Coral, but I think I'm going to use Lost Lagoon now to nut that on. So let's find my Lost Lagoon. Here we go. See, I told you I've got these little baggies for every colour. So let's see a scrap here of Lost Lagoon. I'm just going to do a 2-inch punch with that. Making sure that is the 2-inch punch. And we'll see which looks better. Let's have a look at it with the bit of Calypso Coral as well. See which one we prefer. Which one? Oh, that looks better, definitely. Right, so we're going to do Calypso Coral in the 2-inch. Stuck to my original plan, would have been fine. It just pops better against this colour, which already is Lost Lagoon. So we're going to give it just that lovely little border. And then we're going to pop these up on some dimensionals. So let's get those out. I've got this a bit skew. I can't have a skew sentiment. That won't work. That's a bit better. Right. Let's get some dimensionals on this. There we go. That'll do. Give them a bit of a press down, because as you know, all glue is pressure adhesive. The more you press it, the better it's going to take. So let's have it there, holding that point down like that. Isn't that cute? Right, let's bring in these are the Pearls of Beauty. These are the matching embellishments from the same suite, and I'm going to use some of these Calypso Corally ones, and I'm going to put one there in the centre of my bow. Oh yes, I love that. That's really pretty. Last but not least, I've got another piece of Calypso coral and a piece of scrap of that same paper, and I'm just going to stick one to the other, and this is going to be a little tag in the centre. Now you could put a ribbon on this if you want. I didn't do it this time. There actually isn't, unfortunately, a ribbon in this suite, and I just left it as it was as a photo mat. So now we're going to stick that one in there, and there we have our Calypso coral version, and we have our Lost Lagoon version. So thank you for joining me today for this card making tutorial featuring this turn down technique, and you can see we've done it in 2 different ways. You can tell me which you prefer. If you're wanting more information on the project, as I said, head over to the blog and you'll find everything you need there, and all the links are in the description box below. If you did enjoy the project, please do give it a big thumbs up and consider subscribing. It's so much appreciated. I can't tell you how much. So thank you again, and until next time, enjoy being creative. Bye.